what's the Amber like today?
The Amber is probably the same as Byron, overcast, rainy and somewhat miserable.
It is, but we needed the rain, so it's lovely for the grass and for everything here, and it's not stopping the buyers and the tenants making their way to our part of the world. Are you busy down there?
Absolutely flat out, Chris. Yeah, we had 3 exchanges yesterday. I think we sold 7 properties last week. I think we have 1 or 2 properties available for rent. That's it. The market is absolutely buoyant as.
We would share that with you. We've just had our biggest ever year in business, David, and as I said to you and all the other First National people that I was lucky enough to spend last Friday with for a leadership day in Byron Bay, it's still going strong. We've never had a winter like this ever. Our winters are now like summers, and our property management is like yours. There's virtually nothing to rent. Rents dropped erratically at the start of COVID and have slowly gone back up, and now rents are probably 15% more than they were at the start of COVID for permanent rentals, which is extraordinary. Same with you?
Same, exactly the same here. And it's very difficult to analyse it. It's hard to keep up with, Chris. The supply and demand is sort of way in front of our thought process. Every day is a new challenge, and you sort of start having to reset your thinking every day you get out of bed. Because one moment your brain's saying the world's in a pretty ordinary place, and then next minute you go to work and you open the front doors and it's like game on, and it's just, where did that come from? And it just continues day after day after day, you know, right through to the open homes. There's more people you can poke a stick at wanting to line up. You know, it's just consistent. So
I think people have either been nourished and challenged but excited by the last 6 months, or sadly in some instances they've been frozen and fearful and not really able to move very far. I know you and your business and your wife and your town, and I think I speak for both of us here, we've been nourished in lots of ways by this, but I think it's the hardest 7 or 8 months I've ever seen in business, but probably the 7 or 8 months I've enjoyed most, in the sense that you've had all these things come at you as you've just described every day, and problem solving's been in effect what we've needed to do, and those businesses have been able to solve the problems, have done very well, and yours is obviously one of them, and we've been lucky enough to be the same.
Yeah, 100%, Chris, absolutely. And you know, more times than not, we count our blessings daily on the fact that we're enjoying living here on the far north coast of New South Wales. We're in God's country up here, and we're blessed to get out of bed in this environment. And I think other people are finally getting the picture.
Oh yeah, they're getting it in truckloads and bus loads, and I think for the next couple of years our tourism business will flourish. I think our real estate business will be fine, and I think also, David, other than just living in God's country, I think we live in the best country in the world as well. And in spite of the fact that some people can find some fault with some parts of it at the moment, I think I saw yesterday that France had 8,000 new cases in a day.
Wow.
8,000 in a day. And I look at America and sadly some of the other parts of the world. As always, David, you and I could chat for hours, but we're here with a purpose today. That's our purpose is to talk about RiseX.
Yes, yeah, it is, Chris. And before we get into the nuts and bolts of RiseX and the whole Rise movement, from my position as the chairman for the First National Real Estate Group here in Australia, I want to thank you not only personally, but from a corporate First National point of view, on our members' behalf, that we can work so closely with you. It makes it easy, Chris. We're only an hour and a half from each other, and we've known each other for 25 years, so that makes our job a lot easier. But with that aside, Chris, it's a fantastic joint venture, if you wish, with First National, and I wish you all the very best with it, of course. And thank you for the opportunity to be involved, not only for me personally, but also as the chair of First National. Not only as in a conference sense, but I know you've got many, many tentacles to this Rise. talk about those today with you, and you'll elaborate on those a little bit if you don't mind.
I will, David, and thank you. Congratulations, David, and also being the chair of our organisation. I feel proud of our tradition up here of breeding really good chairs and for our national network. I do and have had involvement with you for well over 2 decades, you and all the other local people here, and we've got a very good local group here, a very good local bunch of people, and I think I speak for all of them when I say how proud we are to have a chairman in this part of the world. Rise came out of an idea, and it came out of a tragedy, and I think the most important place to start with the Rise story for our members, some of who joined, Michael Alexander, Alison Mishad, I remember a bunch of people who came to Christchurch with me last year after the violence of Christchurch and the slayings there. I had an idea on the day or after the tragedy, and that was to get all the people that I knew in real estate, and that's a lot of people, to see if I could get them together in a group and go over and raise some money. We did that. We raised hundreds of thousands of dollars. We did it in 46 days. We even had a lot of the first responders, the police people and the paramedics at the conference. And at the end of the conference, we decided that we, being the people who'd organised Rise, some of who were from our network, but most of who were from other networks, we decided that we'd do a conference every year, and hence moving forward, we're going to have Rise this year in Melbourne. Along comes COVID. There's no Rise. We're all on the back foot. But we also decided, and this is the most important thing I'll say today, we also decided nearly a year ago to raise money each conference each year for something worthy, and we chose mental health.
Sure.
Not only did we choose mental health, we chose then to build an app called Real Care. And if you'll give me a minute or two, I'll tell people where that's up to. Real Care is an app for everyone in real estate. Property managers, receptionists, trainees, bosses, everybody. And it will be at the Rise X conference. It'll be launched by the Honorary Jeff Kennett, who most of you will know. And that app will change inexorably our working lives within real estate, because it'll provide for the first time a way to manage all of the things in real estate that stress us out.
You're talking about the app, Chris. What will be the content within the app that will be on people's smartphones, no doubt?
It will, David, on whether it's an Android or an Apple phone. We've used the latest technology. In effect, the app will have a number of features. The first is it's a triage, and there's a medical term which basically means with one click, if you need to get help from a counsellor who's an expert on one of the myriad of good counselling services in Australia, whether it's about violence or whether it's domestic relationship, whether it's about your own mental health or whether it's about thoughts you're having, any of those things in your phone will be one click and you'll be connected up with those people. Secondly, the app will have a series of notifications, and it will have the ability to help you manage your stresses. Now, during COVID, David, a lot of people's major stress has been financial. So we build into the app financial management strategies, notifications, budgeting, and a series of simple things in there for people. We've also got other aspects of the app, whether it's to take you to meditation, to help you with mindfulness, to help you with breathing exercises, to give you a series. The app will allow you, in essence, a number of different methods within the phone, all of which are private, right? They're just on your phone. No one else has access to the information. But they will allow you and all of us to set up, if you like, a program within our lives, our daily lives, to help us get through life, manage it properly, and if we get in trouble, to go and get help from the right people.
Yeah, that it goes hand in glove, Chris, with the last couple of years, not only this year being obviously the chair of First National, but for the last number of years, I've actually been the chairman of our philanthropic arm of the First National, which is the First National Foundation. Now, a number of years ago, as everyone knows within the First National network anyway, we joined at the hip with the Kids Helpline, which was used to be known as the Old Boys Town.
Yeah.
And for many, many years, we've been supporting those, and that's all about supporting the young in the community between the ages of 12, 15 up to 25. So this is a perfect segue to a broader market, Chris, as we move away from that joint venture, if you wish, to now joint venturing with you in Rise and the Real Care app. So that's a perfect opportunity to take this further and out to the adults of the world instead of just looking at the kids. But also, no doubt, it will be inclusive of kids, your Real app, because it can filter down through the mums and dads who we work with in the real estate industry. Would that be correct?
Yes, David, it is. It's for people who work in real estate. There's more real estate agents than there are farmers in Australia. There's a lot of us. And it's for their families. So our whole intention from day one was to get it to as many people we can. But you're right, it will help families. It'll help the internal culture and the flow of a business. It'll make people feel, David, more importantly, that they've got some control in their lives, personal and business. So yeah, all of those groups will be affected.
Beautiful. Now you alluded before, Chris, to the Rise conference, the face-to-face conference. Now, I believe that unfortunately, obviously, as you said, it's postponed this year, but there's plans to have a face-to-face conference when we're allowed to back in Melbourne. Is that correct?
Yes, the face-to-face one will be next year in May, in early May, 5th or the 6th. I've got a mental block. It's one of those dates, and people will get notified of that. But what we've done in the interim is we've created Rise X, which is the primary reason you and I are talking today.
Yes.
To discuss the Real Care app. Why? Because at Rise X is a virtual conference. There will be thousands and thousands of people on this line. And I understand that you and our CEO, Ray Ellis, will make some announcements later about our network support for the general Rise X conference, which I'll leave to you to make at a later date. But Rise X is a virtual conference, the only one of its type during this COVID period. Jessica Rowe will be one of the speakers, Michael Carr-Gregg, Jeff Kennett will be part of the program launching the Real Care app. There'll be a session for sales and a separate breakout session for property management, some of the best salespeople in the country. And for all the principals listening, there's a special session after the main event where I personally will interview 6 or 7 of the best leaders in the country.
Okay.
It'll go, the main conference, Rise X, is the Tuesday, the 6th of October between 9 and 12. It's the cheapest conference anyone will ever go to. We're not trying to make any money out of it. It's $35 plus GST. If you can find all those speakers and all that product for $35, I've never seen it. But here's the best bit, and this is why all of the leaders out there need to get your staff to this, to find a way to finance them all if you can, everybody in your business, because we're going to give them the app for free. Now,
wonderful.
What that in effect means is if First National's got 1,000 people on that conference that day, that means 1,000 of our members and their teams will have the Real Care app from that day onwards. The only contribution after that will be all the major networks will come together and let's say it's X amount of dollars per year. When you build an app, you've just got to have a contract in place for bugs and bits and pieces, but there'll be no charges to anybody, just a small amount from each of the networks. And the management of the app and all of those will be done professionally. The company that built the app is called Utility Creative, and they're a very interesting company who built the apps for the Australian Police Force, for the New Zealand Police Force, and for the Canadian Police Force. Okay. These guys are world leading. one other thing that we all need to be proud of about this is, unless I'm wrong, very few, if any, professions have ever done this. They basically build an app. Who built it? We actually did, working with Utility Creative, and we built it by having focus groups. First National contributed a bunch of people to the focus groups. We did it in New Zealand. We did it right down the coast, East Coast. We did it in the major cities. We did it in regional areas. And we did it, a lot of it in Victoria as well. And the people in the focus groups gave the information to the app builders, and they built the Real Care app. So it's $35 plus GST on Tuesday the 6th. We got websites. You just go on and click. It's really easy to buy tickets. It's just a couple of clicks. And we need everyone's email address, because the email address will allow us to give them the app for free.
Beautiful, Chris. Fantastic explanation. And you're right. I will be progressing that with our CEO, Ray Ellis. And without fear or favour, you will certainly have a massive contribution from the First National membership. And of course, that filters through the board of directors and through me. And you can be guaranteed that you will have many, 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 many members. My vision is to have all, by the way, all First National members being a part or being able to be a part of RiseX and also the app. I dwell very briefly on the app, Chris. Having been the chair of the First National Foundation for many years, I have heard many times by way of presentations in the Melbourne boardroom about companies and app builders who were going to build care apps for our members. And this is the first time, and I repeat, Chris, this is the first time that someone has actually delivered on their promise to put something real in front of our members. And we've had very big companies sit in front of us to tell us what they will do at hugely expensive prices. And I'm talking international companies, and have not delivered on their promise when there was a checkbook available for them, because we believe that this is a massively important initiative. And we've said that for many, many years. And it excites me a lot to have heard about this, that it's actually here now in front of us and put together by a group of real estate agents and their mentors and their associates, dare I say, kicking off on the far north coast of New South Wales. What a wonderful thing, and extremely happy to be a part of it. And I know Ray's excited, and we are all at First National excited to be a part of it. I'm sure that I speak on behalf of everybody, but from what I understand, Chris, that most leading brands, leading real estate companies and brands have your support, and you have their support in this as well, just not First National.
That's been a pivotal part of this, David. I've got the whole Ray White group. There's 10,000 of the Ray White group. I have Bresic Whitney and Harris Real Estate and Cunningham's. I've got the Jellis Craig, Nelson Alexander and Marshall White. I got support from pretty well everywhere. The core group, though, strangely, is half a dozen of us have driven this, but with this fantastic support from all of these people when we needed them. This cost a lot of money to build. You were right about the cost. We were successful. We took a punt when COVID started to build this thing, not really knowing, David, where we were going to get the money from, truth be known.
Yeah.
But recently, Domain, and I want to repeat their name so everybody understands this, Domain has come to the party and become our partner. It's one of the most generous things I've ever seen for an organisation to do this. And they're going to have a long-term involvement with the industry, but mental health for them is a particularly important focus. Many other groups approached us or talked with us when they heard what we were doing, but Domain just had a different attitude, and we not only accepted, we partnered with them. But it's a very interesting thing doing something like this for the simple reason that there's no logical reason not to be involved. And by that I mean the problem and challenge of mental health throughout Australia in all professions is now so serious across all the generations that for us to be able to do this and to give it to our members for free That was our intention. Our groups delivered. And in the next few weeks, people are going to get the benefit from it. And, you know, that of itself will make everybody happy. But Ray has been behind this all the time. I briefed him the whole way through and had meetings with him in Melbourne, both for the RISE conference and for this. So, you know, I thank you and Ray and all the members. Get them out there, get as many staff as you can, 35 plus GST. If they want to find the website, they can go in and find RISE 2020, which is the main conference, or they can put RISE-X, the 2020, just into a search engine, and they'll find their way to the tickets.
Beautiful. Well done, Chris, and thanks again for allowing us to be a part of it, and we wish you all the best with it.
Thank you, David. Thank you. Thank you, everybody else. Cheers.